Hi, I'm Peter Jones, Chartered Surveyor, author and property investor, and in this short series of videos we're looking at the principal property strategies that we can use. And one of the most exciting strategies is development. There's just so many different ways that we can approach this. There's commercial conversions, converting, say, an office building or a pub, or nowadays it could even be a particular type of industrial unit into residential accommodation. And a lot of people are doing that using what they call PDs, permitted development. We could talk about this for days and days and days, but the short summary of that is that the government have introduced tweaks to the planning laws which make it much easier to apply for planning if you're converting a property like an office, for example, into residential. And if it's under a PD, permitted development, then they have to give you the planning. Although there are certain safeguards, you can't just do what you like, you've got to talk to the planning office, but they have to give you the planning consent. So that's very interesting, and it's encouraged a lot of people into it. But you don't have to be on that sort of level. It could be on a much smaller level. It could be just finding a house and turning it into 2 flats, for example. We could almost call that title splitting, because you'd be buying a freehold house, turning it into 2 flats, and then presumably putting long leases onto each of the flats, which is where the term title splitting comes from. It could be building. It could be buying a plot of land and building a house. It could be buying a plot of land, building several houses. And of course you've then got the choice of then selling the properties on, or you could keep them and you could rent them out. So it could be build to rent. And actually I was with somebody the other day, very exciting, because they have access to what they call modular buildings, which are actually produced in a factory. So it's now totally conceivable that you could buy a plot of land, you could get somebody in to do the groundworks, which is essentially putting in the foundations and making sure the utilities are there, and then you can drop the property in. It's delivered on a lorry in 3 or 4 chunks, and you can literally assemble a whole house in one day. It even comes ready installed with all the plaster on the walls and with carpet on the floors, ready to do. So there's so much that we can do nowadays under the general term of development, and much more besides. And that could be a great thing to get into should you wish to. A bit more of a sophisticated investment strategy than just doing a single let buy to let, but with the country crying out for new housing, that could be a great way to go. So there we are. Until next time, here's to successful property investing.